My name is Monica Gleiberman, and you're listening to Silence on Set podcast. On today's podcast, we're talking to Ian Bohen, who can currently be seen as playing Ryan on the critically acclaimed series Yellowstone. He's also best known for his role as Peter Hale in MTV's hit series Teen Wolf. Bohen will reprise his role in the upcoming Teen Wolf the movie, which is set to premiere on Paramount Plus on January 26th. So to talk about all things Yellowstone, what we can expect for Teen Wolf the movie, and give some hints and details on some upcoming projects, here's Ian Bohen. You have quite an impressive list of projects that you've done in the past. So I just want to run over just a couple of them that some people might have heard of. So you have things like Chicago PD.
Yep, first season of that. Mm-hmm.
There's a show called Teen Wolf, you know.
Oh, yeah, just that little ditty, just a quick 100 episodes of that.
A small thing. Superman and Lois.
Mm-hmm.
And then this really small show made by some guy no one knows called Yellowstone.
Yeah, I've had a pretty lucky run the last, it's funny because, they always say the overnight success, and it took 20 years before I really started getting into gear. That was the attrition time that I think the world tests you on to see if you really want to do this. And most people find out that they don't really want to do it that bad. But if you stay long enough, you can succeed. So I just didn't quit. That was my line. I'm going to quit tomorrow. I'm going to quit tomorrow. It's too hard. I don't want to do it. And I just haven't quit yet. I've been fortunate enough to have worked with amazing people, loyal people that always want to keep working with you and bring you into new stuff. And then I've gotten some new best friends and family out of it. And so I'm pretty damn blessed, I have to say.
I've watched you forever, and every role that you play is so different. And like, you look different, you talk different. I mean, it's just such a great quality as an actor for me. Well, as a journalist, for me to watch you as an actor do all of that. So how do you do this?
It's funny you say that because I feel like I'm doing the same thing.
Really?
Yeah, it's odd for a performer. All we have really is, we have words. So we learn those, of course. We have a costume. And when you put that on and you look at yourself and your hair's done a different way, or you're shaved, or you have a beard, you feel different. It influences everything. Wardrobe is huge. And the way you look is, people have an expectation to it. So like for Chicago PD, short hair, clean shaven suit, very different than Yellowstone or Teen Wolf. The guy just says his words and he has a motivation. He wants things, but it feels the same as like Ryan on Yellowstone. It's weird to me. So I love the fact that it's coming across different.
Yeah.
Obviously, Peter Hale is snarky and does what he does, but is he that much different than some of the bad stuff that we do in the bunkhouse? Because, we've got quite the body count. We just think of it in terms of motivation, going after what you want, and then you just have to be true to the script. And then it just kind of comes out, and it's hard to see it the way you see it. So thank you. That's great. I'm going to keep it up. It's fun to play these different guys. And I've got something new that I'm going to go work on in a couple of weeks. This wonderful biopic about Ure Del Harris, who was Miss Cleo. I don't know if you remember from the Psychic Friends Network. So she's got an amazing story, and they're making a movie about her life. And I play this bad guy again. It'll be interesting to go into that, doing all these bad things as the character, not, judging themselves. They think that they're doing right, like everyone does. Everyone thinks that they're the good guy in their own story.
Did you ever want to call Miss Cleo just to like talk to her because she was so famous?
I don't think I ever did. Let's see, that would have been, it was like right around 2000. So I think I might have been a little bit like older, the inquisitiveness of the people that we're calling. Yeah, so it's called Call Me Now, and hopefully it will be out by year's end. It's really interesting.
That's so cool. When you talk about wardrobe, what was one of the outfits that you put on and you were like, I know this guy from that outfit?
The earliest things I did was I did Young Hercules. We did a film, and then I did a few episodes, like 4 or 5 episodes of the Hercules show before Ryan Gosling took over the main thing. And it was this shearling leather, just vest, basically, that was like, all the way down to your belly button, leather pants that you had to sew on, and then these like cuffs on your wrist. And that was pretty much it. But when you looked at it, you're like, I get it. I understand what this is. And it just moves you in that direction. And then more contemporarily, the clothes that Janetta Boone puts on us for Yellowstone are phenomenal. The detail, the accents, the aging, the color palettes. It's a lot of fun to get dressed up for that show, from the chaps to the big coats and the hats. That's a good time.
Okay, so before I get into Yellowstone, have you stolen anything? Because from any of these shows, because like Yellowstone, I'm not going to lie, lie, if you guys had me on that set, I would be leaving. I would be stuffing things and like
Right.
grabbing things from everywhere.
I'll take a lot of clothes at the end when it's time to go. Of course, you ask, you're like, hey, this is going to go missing today. Is that all right? And then they go, okay, just that one. Oh, and maybe this one. From Superman and Lois, I took my ID badge with my picture that like all the doors and stuff. That was fun. But otherwise, I'm not super sentimental with items. So I generally joke that I take my castmates. I take them with me, and then I take them. I've got them for the rest of my life. So I steal people, and we keep them around.
This is the thing that I love about Yellowstone. Even in season 1, yes, there's this ranch and you meet everybody working on the ranch, but I love the idea of this bunkhouse because it was almost like a real world meets like a dynasty meets like a ranch. Like it was just so much. And it gave all of these characters more than just, oh, they work at a ranch, right? Because you guys could have just
Yes.
background working at a ranch and we just would have seen you on a regular basis and that's it. But it gave you guys depth and a storyline and funny things and crazy things. So how did you work on over the seasons? Obviously now we're 5 years in. How did you guys work on or continue to work on those relationships in the bunkhouse? It feels like you guys have been friends and working together forever. I know now it's been 5 years.
We are in a pretty good like sequence and rhythm with each other, mainly because we've spent so much time together from the very beginning. There was a cowboy camp for the people that didn't have much horse experience or background with the animals to just learn those basic things because those are so important. But then like Jeff and Denham and I and Jen, all of us, we go to dinners together, we hang out, we go to the river, we go play, we drive into Missoula. So we're constantly just around each other. And then the scenes are written so well. Everyone starts to find their rhythm within it. And you just listen to the other cast members do their thing. And it just becomes a dance. And we just have done it so much that we've found the comedy, we found the sincerity. Obviously, there's violence, but there's timing to it, which makes it work just from working our butts off, I think. And, you know, the performers are so good. Bingham, Ethan Lee, Jake Ream, Hassie Harrison, Eden Brolin, like everybody that is in that bunkhouse. Cole, when he comes in every now and then, Forey J. Smith is just top notch class acts and it works. I'll put most of the credit to Taylor and his words, but the performers listening to each other and participating, they're just all talented. And the bunkhouse itself is a bridge between the very high drama and violent nature and very serious part of the show where you can kind of take a breather and you can have some different life and you can have some laughs, which and just literally, you know, take a rest and pace it down before we get back into it. And that's why it's so important. I think that's why the bunkhouse is kind of adored for that. So it's a hell of a privilege to be in there with those people.
Yeah, I love that. And I really love too, as the seasons went on, that they pulled Cole out because, you know, Rip or whatever is supposed to be such a, you know, force, right? When he comes on and he kind of tells everyone what to do and he's the leader. Just thought it was such a smart decision because I think living there, you get comfortable, right? So y'all make fun of each other and like, and that's normal. But it's definitely a different vibe. And I wanted to know how you feel about this as an actor when he walks in.
The first 2 or 3 seasons, he kind of, you know, kicked the shit out of everybody. And you were really walking on eggshells. And it was very obvious, you know, that there was a power structure, but it was so deferential to him that said, you're almost like, you know, shoot, what's going to happen? I don't want to get, you know, called on. Don't look at me. Since that character is now with Beth in his own house, it seems as though we're more, I want to say equals, and it's more respectful. There's a different level of work that I feel like when I'm doing scenes with him, I feel like we're peers. Obviously, he's, you know, the foreman of the ranch, he's the boss and all that. But there's just it's a growing. It's like if you're in the, I don't know, if you're in the military, you're a cadet, and then after a few years, you know, you and your superior officers, they give a mutual respect, it gets stronger. So when he comes in, I'm more excited. Whereas I used to be like, oh, what's going to happen? Now I'm like, hey, bud, you know, it's like we're friends. And because we get along so well and we spend so much time together off set, I think it's just evolved into that. It's so much more fun than being trepidatious or worried that, you know, you're going to get in trouble or the boss is going to, you know, grab you by the collar and shake you. So we love it when he comes in and he's having more fun with it too. He's making a joke, he smiles. It's just getting better. I can't wait to see what happens when we pick up where, you know, half the bunkhouse is in the truck and we're driving south.
I learned about this.
So where we're going to land and what we're going to do is, I think, is going to be really exciting. I won't tell you where it is. We're going to be there for a little while and then all together but separate because Denham and Ethan, I think, and Forey are staying back. And then there's 5 of us that are going. So we're going to have a whole new place to be for a little while.
So you guys have to move it somewhere warm where they would have places, you know, food and things like
Yep.
that. So there was a group chosen. chosen. Is awful is that Ryan is finally kind of falling for a girl, like
Oh,
they would. I was so
heartbreaking.
excited for Ian, and I was so happy for him that he's falling for this singer and
Hmm.
she loves him, and you could see a whole thing forming. And then he's like, "Yeah, and I'm leaving, and it could be like a year." And I was like, "No."
That's what our boss, our creator does. He sets things up that are so perfect, and then he just smashes them. He giveth and he taketh away, and that creates heavy drama. These are big obstacles. This theme of distance is going to be seen in the second half of this season. The space between things and people. John is going to be up in Helena at the Capitol. Beth and Rip are away from each other. The bunkhouse is split. Like everything is apart, and that distance is going to be a big problem. But like all these cycles, eventually we're going to all come back together. It's these cycles that make it fun to listen to and to watch, because if everything was hunky-dory and all the love worked all the time, people would get bored. I hope to God that Lainey, who plays Abby, comes back when we return to the ranch and we get to be reunited. That would be amazing. She'll probably break my heart at that point. Then I'll be like, I'm home. And she's like, well, I'm dating someone else. So that's the kind of thing Taylor would do. But we'll see. Yeah, we haven't seen the scripts yet for the 8-5B, but we're very excited to get going on that in here in just a couple months.
Oh my gosh, they have to, because like Ryan's just so sweet and just such a nice guy.
Just started getting close. He's so in love with this girl. But again, it's very powerful, the scene where he talks about what his singing is his cowboying and the life that he's chosen and the culture and the people and the land and the animals. He can't live without that. And he can't be forced to choose because he's always going to go that way. And hopefully they can coexist the way Beth and Rip do. But some people aren't okay with that. Like if you're gone for a year, it's pretty much, adios. So we'll see how long she's willing to wait or what happens. I'm not sure.
I loved that conversation because I think for a lot of people that are not connected to ranching, per se, you're going, what? Like, why would you? That makes no sense to take off for a year or an undetermined time. It could be 2 years, 3 years, right? Like, they don't know what they're doing. When Ryan has that conversation with her, I love when he was like, well, what do you love about music? How is music free? And then she was saying, how it's so important to her and she can't live without. He was like, well, that's what ranching is to me.
That's me.
Oh, and like it
yeah,
broke
it's
my heart.
heartbreaking. It
But it
is.
makes so much sense. And it makes Ryan, to me at least, he's not a cold-hearted person. He's just saying, listen, you got to understand, this is what I love. I have to do what I love, even if it separates.
Yeah, exactly. And that's his personal integrity. He knows who he is and he has to do that. And, Rip would do the same thing. Well, geez, I don't know. They're married. That's different. Talk about one of the best love stories on television from season 1 to now, and who they are, who they were, and who they've become, especially with the flashbacks this season, showing what she did to him.
As a kid.
Who could you root for more than Beth and Rip to be together? I love them. I just adore watching them together.
Oh my God, they're the best. And like, what gets me nervous is, especially with all the prequels and all the stuff that like Taylor's done, I feel like it's not good to have like super important and like will take anyone quote unquote to the train, right? And you have all these guys that are willing to do everything and everyone's split. So now I'm like super concerned, like someone's going to show up or something bad's going to happen.
Yeah, this distance causes problems. It creates space and holes that things can get into, right
Yeah, it's
when
like
it's
security holes.
yeah.
I'm worried
When
about.
we're tight, it's like your defenses. Jefferson was using this analogy, and I'm stealing it from him. And you're guarded, and now there's holes, and the bad guys will take advantage of this distance, and bad things are going to happen. Make no mistake. The market equities woman was when they put the ranch in the conservative easement, she was like ready to go nuclear. I mean, they're going to start talking about killing people. That's how upsetting what they've done is to the community. So with these holes, there's going to be a lot more space to fill for bad guys to come in. So I have a feeling it's going to get real dirty in season 5B. We'll see. I don't know. I hope I make it.
Okay. Yeah, let's put out into the energy. So I'm just going to put out manifestations. I'm going to tell Taylor, if he kills you off, that's it. I'm out of Yellowstone. So
don't even say it.
You can't do
say it.
I don't think they can. He's just too lovable. Like you just can't. You can't.
I hope not. I don't know that there's a payoff. When you kill a main character, it has to be worth it. You can't just do it just to do it. You're like, oh, you lost Ryan. Why? You lost somebody fun and cool, but you don't really get enough out of it, I think, to lose that character. So that's my hope.
And I want to show you too. I got this for you.
Oh, that's great.
Today.
Where'd you get that? That looks like a proper one.
From the show, right?
Yes.
So I got it through I have people.
You got some people? Hold on, let me show you. I got one. Look at these camo ones.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they make these snapback camo. They occasionally they will hand these out on set. If you're around that day, somebody's got a box of them, and then you can take them home to your family. So I have.
So now you'll have to be my new connection because this is the one I have.
Yeah, it's great.
I also have a shirt about the train station, which is super fun. And that I think they sent me from like the store or something that you guys have.
Awesome. Wear it out and represent. People,
Oh my
my
gosh.
dad has hats and like my friends wear them, and people always comment. They're like, oh my God, you like Yellowstone? And it's exciting just to watch the reaction that people have to it.
So we love you on Yellowstone. We will go with the best. But let's talk really quickly. Teen Wolf, which I know you can't really tell me much of anything, but
What I can tell you is, yeah, so Peter Hale's back. The fans have been wanting season 7 and, more content of the character from Beacon Hills since we stopped airing, which was 5 years ago. And it's been a big battle to get that done because there's a lot of different organizations technically that own part of the intellectual property, if you will, the licensing of the characters and all the stuff. So it's difficult to get it done. It's wonderful that we all got to be back together. I think that Allison is back. That's incredible because her character is Crystal Reed is so good. And then you get to see her and Scott. Almost everybody is back from this series in some facet or another. And we pick up not where we left off because there's a big time break,
right.
Obviously, because everyone's gotten, so much older, but there's a time break in it. So we'll pick up however many years later. I don't want to actually tell you because I don't know if that's still a secret, but we kind of hit the ground running. Like it starts like on page 1, you're just like stuff is happening and it's very exciting. There's a lot of the old bad guys are coming back. And then we have the relationships. It's going to feel very much like we never stopped. I haven't seen it yet, but I've seen snippets. It just felt like old times being back there with everybody. We shot it in Atlanta where we started the show. We did 2 seasons there. So we were like, this is our place. How so many years, 11 years later.
Was it crazy deciding to come? Like, I know like 99% of the cast decided to come back, but was it crazy to like walk on set?
Yes and no, because I talk to somebody from that cast almost every day, be it Hecklin or JR or Sharman.
Because you said you steal people.
Yeah, I steal them. I've stolen them. Some of them are here. Somebody's in the closet right now. Shut up. So when Jeff called me the previous summer and he said, hey, do you want to be in the movie? And I was like, of course. And he said, we can't do it without Peter Hale. And I said, I don't think so. So let's do it. So I had a long time to be excited. I got very lucky that they were shooting it when I was off of Yellowstone. Otherwise, I just wouldn't have physically been available. So I got very lucky and did that in between, other work. And then when I got there, it felt so normal. It's just like, oh, of course you're here. Just hugs all around. You have the space camp where you hair and makeup done and you get dressed in your little room where you sit, but everyone's outside in a circle, just standing there like, recess or whatever in high school, just in a group. And we're just chilling. That's how close everybody is. So it was an absolute delight. It's nice to see Posey, who is a producer on this, just stepping up into a new role. And, he was 17 or 18 when we started. I think he's almost 30 now. So he's a full grown man. And it's just watching everybody. It's gorgeous. It's one of the times of my life to get to be a part of Teen Wolf. And hopefully we'll make more stuff because I don't want to stop.
I'm so excited to see Peter again. And like now as I'm older. So I'm like down for this movie. Like I'm down to see where everybody is and what's going on.
Yeah, because the fan base ages at the same rate as the character as we do. So they take with them their childhood love of it. They mature with us too. So it's like there's no space in between anymore. It's going to be exactly the same, the feeling and relation wise to the character because we are again aging at the same time. So I think you're going to love it. It's going to be fun as hell. So much action, so many new people. The sets are going to be bigger and better, and it's going to be a treat.
I wanted to ask you in terms of fandoms. I mean, listen, Chicago PD has a huge fandom and stuff like that, but Yellowstone and Teen Wolf are a little like next level. So what would you say to the fans? I mean, for Yellowstone, everyone's dying. So there's like theories all over the internet. And then, I mean, Teen Wolf is just an icon, right? Like everybody talks about Teen Wolf. So what is that like, in terms of fandoms, like for Yellowstone coming back and the fans freaking out, what can you say about that? And I know it's very limited when we talked a little bit about it, but then also for Teen Wolf, there's been fans that have waited years for this to happen.
Truly for Teen Wolf, the kids, when we were on that show and it was like the high season of it, they were nuts. I mean, they would camp out in front of hotels. I mean, hundreds of them. And they would chase us in cars and, stuff like you see on TV. And you're like, that really happens? That has waned a bit because effervescence of the teenage kids as they've gotten into their 20s, they just kind of chill out a little bit. I still meet tons of people. And it's often like someone will say, hey, man, I love your show. And kids, it'll be like a full grown, middle aged man. And I'm like, oh, thanks. You're working hard in Montana. And they're like, no, no, Teen Wolf. And I'm like, really? And so I have to kind of be like, what are you talking about? And then, because I don't know what to tell them about. Lately, with Yellowstone just airing, that's been like nutty. Like people are coming out of the woodwork at the airport and pretty much everywhere. I went to see Lainey Wilson. She played in San Jose the other week. I went to one of her concerts. It was like a mob scene. So they just love it. And it's fun to talk to people that like the show and to interact with them and to share the experience with them and just give them a little bit of a smile because, they get to see their characters. And I do the same thing when I see, people like on Succession or some of the other shows that I watch. I'm just like, oh my God, I want to go say hi. So we try to have a really good time and give them just a moment to feel special. But it's a trip, I'll tell you. Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a
But,
lot. I know.
it comes with the territory.
And what's nice too, related to Yellowstone in particular, is that for a while, I don't know why, but it was kind of under the radar in terms of like awards, which, always kind of next level you too. So now it's starting to come out into the world a little bit. And I think that,
Yes.
levels you into a little bit more of a chaotic position because people go, oh, all right, why are these people nominated? Or why is this show nominated?
Yeah, it was a huge surprise to me when we got nominated for SAG Award last year for season 4 as an ensemble cast, which is their version of like best show. I was floored that it was going to be recognized like that. And then Kevin just won the Golden Globe. I mean, he beat everybody. I am mystified because it's just generally not regarded that way. At least it hasn't been yet. And then Kelly got a Critics' Choice nomination just for, the show was on the other night. She didn't win, but we got that. So it's taken 5 seasons before it's really a mainstream thing now. People even on the coast in New York City watch Yellowstone and people in Los Angeles watch Yellowstone. Awards are fun and goodness, it's nice to win and congrats to whoever does. But I think the cast would prefer the numbers that we have, the viewers. That's our award. That's what makes us feel like kind of number one because that's like proof in the pudding. The number of people to watch, I think it's the most watched show on television. So that feels better than anything, that the hard work is got people on the couch watching it live and talking to their friends about it. So we love and appreciate them all very much. Please don't stop watching it. We're working very hard to try to keep getting them out as fast as we can. So thank you for everybody listening. Thank you for your patronage and your continued support. It means everything. We wouldn't make it if you guys didn't want to watch it. To be honest, I want the show to get an Emmy nomination. I think it deserves it.
There's a lot of us that were very vocal in season 1 and it took a while. And now I think everyone's kind of like, all right, I finally checked it out. Because, they give us like 500-600 things that we have to like watch and kind of like go through more things, to come for sure with this show.
Hopefully, because the cast deserves it. I mean, I'm so happy that Kevin won. He deserves it. But Kelly and Cole, Luke, Kelsey, Wes Bentley, like they all deserve more, I think, more recognition. And Taylor, he writes every word. I think everyone knows that. And so it would be nice for him to get, a nod as well.
We'll keep pushing for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh my gosh. Listen, biggest fan here. Like, I'm not even kidding. I love it so much. I love everything about it. I love the content, the structure, but you guys are not losing people. You guys are gaining people as the seasons go on because more and more people are talking about it.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
so we're going to keep the train rolling as fast as we can, for as long as we can. Hopefully we'll finish season 5 and then 6 and 7 would be an absolute dream. At some point the story is going to finish. The movie will have to end because the story's done. I don't know what that space looks like. I do know roughly how it ends.
Oh, they told you already?
We've had some talks with the boss. Yeah. And so obviously that's a big secret, but then how long it takes to get there, I don't know. We'll see what can happen. And then who knows, maybe there's a spinoff, maybe there's more life. It looks different in a different world. I don't know, but the characters are so beloved that, and the formula works that it would be a shame to stop it because it's going good. So we'll keep it going as long as, the quality is there and the audience appetite remains.
So you guys have some sort of inkling of how it's ending, but you have no idea in terms of seasons, like how long that it would go for.
We were supposed to go through 6, and that was kind of the broad idea, but they've elongated 5 to 16 episodes, parts A and B, and I've heard 6 as well will be that 16 episodes. So now that changes the count. It could be the end of 6. We could have 7. I don't know. Again, if people keep watching it, they're going to keep making it. I just said that, I think, to somebody else the other day. They're like, what do you want to work on next? I'm like, nothing. I want to do this for 10 years and then retire.
Yeah, like this is like too soon for me. Like I know it's been 5 seasons and I know you guys do hard work and it's hot and like the equipment and the stuff and the animals and the amount of, I understand the 60-hour days and I know the whole thing. It's so much work,
It's
but
a ton of work.
5 years is not
But
nothing.
no, it's not. There's more to be had. People want to see it. A lot of it has to do with it's really Taylor. He's writing so many other things. If he wants to keep writing it, he will. And if he just decides, I just am finished, he'll go do something else. No one can take his place in this world. They might try, but it wouldn't last very long, I don't think, without him. So I just hope he wakes up and thinks, yeah, I want to keep doing this for a while.
That's my like minimum for you guys.
Just a quick 10. That's it. We need
Right?
5 more. Yes. It'd
Yes,
be
5 more, and then I think
great.
there's a spinoff of just, like, the bunkhouse. I'm cool with that too. I'm
We've
good with
talked
that.
about it, so we'll see. There's so much going on at the network. At Paramount, they're very happy with everything. So they're always thinking of what more can we be doing? And everyone is like, I'm here because
Yeah.
I'm happy to keep getting in the saddle, as they say.
Yeah, you're like, just, like, keep extending the universe because I mean, there's so many
Yeah.
different things that they can do, you know?
Yeah, it works for Marvel and for DC
Right.
and all of these other crossover stuff. So there's something that can be done, and I think it will happen.
Okay, so basically at this point, we are left with the house torn apart with Yellowstone. We have people everywhere. And
Hmm.
we have severe security. That's what I was calling it. Security risk of like people coming in and attacking because I feel all the big kind of bosses or players are out. They're not there.
No
So
one's left to
very
guard the
concerned.
ranch.
Yes, I'm
Right.
very
It's
concerned.
dangerous.
So we have this there. We have
Hmm.
Ryan away from his girl, which I'm very upset with. So I'm hoping there's a beautiful reunion and it's fast. Like I hope it's like 1 or 2 episodes and like a quick montage and you guys got to come back. I want to see them together. So we have that going. And so we're in the middle of a break and then you guys are coming back. So we're just keeping fingers crossed. 10 more years, nominations for all you guys. I'm just putting everything out there.
I mean, this sounds like a beautiful Tuesday morning to me. I'm into everything that you're saying.
And then for Teen Wolf, we have a group that loves each other that basically all came back to not only bring like nostalgia and joy to people that are like my age, but probably a little younger than me that are super excited for this movie. And I just can't wait for that. And I can't wait to see what people's reactions are. I think you're going to have trouble going in and out of airports way worse than you do right now. Like when this movie comes out, I just think you're just going to be like, I can't go out. Like everybody's going
Oh
to just
my.
come up to you.
I'm
So
right in the sweet spot where I don't get accosted. Everyone's always just nice and wants to say hi, take a quick picture. Tyler Hoechlin and Posey and Holland, they just get chased literally. So I'm quite happy where I'm at, but we'll see how it goes come
oh,
the
prepare.
26th.
First of all, people love Ryan. So like I just think you just haven't found those people yet. Because like people were freaking out when I said I was going to talk to you. They were like, "Oh my god!" And then when it comes to Teen Wolf, I mean, bringing you guys back. I remember covering you guys at Comic-Con. I think it was your first season when you guys were all there, your second season. And like I walked in, and I think like half of them were like eating salad and having food and like stuffing faces. It was like after the press thing, and I came in to say hi to everybody. And you all were the nicest like human beings known to man. And then I felt so terrible because you guys were like stuffing your face to eat because the press room's upstairs. So it's like away from, it's like silence. Like you guys get to like relax. It's like away from
Yeah.
everybody.
Hmm.
And I just came in and I was like, oh, I'll go. Like I felt so bad. And everyone was like, no, 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 sit down. And I just like sat with all of you and you guys were just eating. And I told this whole story. I'm like, oh my God, I met the nicest cast of this new show. And you guys were just all so sweet. And then year after year when you came back, same thing. Nobody ever changed. And just the nicest group of people.
Yeah, Jeff Davis put together an incredible cast. I attribute a lot of the success of that show into the way the attitudes and just the behavior of the actors and the way that they work together. Everyone is in love with everybody. And Taylor's done the same thing on Yellowstone. And if you have bad casting, even if they're great individual performers, they don't work together. It's like a team. Team's not going to play great, even if you have a bunch of superstars. Happens all the time. So I credit Jeff Davis with that for sure. He just knows what he's doing. On that note, he's got a new show out called Wolf Pack, which is a separate world. It's not combined. It's different people, different town, and all that stuff. But it is wolf based, as you might guess from the title. And so you're going to see another incredible group of people on a very dramatic, very adult kind of content-y and sort of R-rated show. I think it premieres on Paramount Plus the same day as the movie. And then you'll get 8 episodes of that, I think, 8 or 10.
Have you seen it?
I haven't seen any of it, just some trailers, just like some quick cuts, and it looks badass.
It's really good. Like, and you you have your doubts, right? Because Teen Wolf kind of like set the bar. So I was like, I don't know. But I went into it with an open mind. And like when I was watching it, I was like, I'm in. So I watched the first
Good.
really quick. Like, and then I was like, I have another one, right? And then I looked, I was like, oh, I do. I have the second one. So then I clicked and I went right into the next one.
Great. You can love them both. And if we ever, if we make more Teen Wolf movies, that would be great. And then hopefully we'll pack, goes for another 6 seasons and is the next, iteration of the werewolf mythology and the lore and all the stuff that Jeff likes to write about, and is as successful, or if not more, than our show. I'm really looking forward to watching that on Thursday.
Hope you guys enjoyed listening to Ian Bohen talk about Yellowstone and some theories about what's going to happen when the show returns after its mid-season finale, and what fans can expect for this upcoming Teen Wolf the movie, which is set to premiere on Paramount Plus on January 26th. So make sure you go and check it out. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you're updated on all of our latest podcasts, and head over to our YouTube channel, hit subscribe so you're updated on all of our video content.